Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of Pele Yoetz. It feels like it's been a long time, and I feel like I'm saying this all the time. I've been going back through some of my shirim to upload them to YouTube, and I always feel like I'm saying it's been a while and all good things, but it's really true, all good things, and I'm so grateful to HaShem for giving me all those opportunities to not only continue to do this through a broadcast, but also to kind of meet a lot of you in person. It's been a tremendous experience. And I want to give a shout out to everyone who came out to Ochel Sarah, the event that we had for Kislev, in order for me to do the shir, the last anusa. And I met a woman there, and it was amazing because she had read my article in Mishpacha like over a year ago. And when she heard I was coming, she came from Teaneck, New Jersey. I mean, it's just a tremendous zechus to be able to connect with people, and for Hashem to show me with my own eyes how that, all the things that I'm putting out there are affecting you guys. It's been a tremendous source of hizuk. I don't know that I can ever thank Hashem enough, because I think sometimes, we do this and we say, does anybody even care? And to see that people, it is affecting their lives. It's just a tremendous, I don't even have words to tell you how elated I am to be able to connect with all of you, and for all the support that you guys are giving to me. I'm so incredibly grateful. For sure, I can say there is no other nation like Am Yisrael. It's just been a tremendous journey, and I've been so fortunate to be able to share it with all of you, for you guys to also share your experiences and everything that's going on with me. It's just been tremendous, and I'm very grateful. And I'll never regret my choice to return to Am Yisrael. And so apropos, because today on Pele Yoetz, we're talking about choice. And that is what life is. It's the sum of our choices. And, sometimes I think we go through life and we know, we missed the mark and that wasn't such a great choice. And sometimes we know we hit it. And we wish that we could always do more of that. But it starts out and it says, "It is proper for a man to choose from between good and bad that which is good. Just like an excellent businessman who invests in the most profitable merchandise, minimally he will buy from every type of product so that he has something to offer to every client. Nonetheless, the majority of his inventory will be of the most lucrative item." So this is very true, right? If you have something in the store of merchandise, you want something for everyone. Hence the saying, there's something for everyone. But every good businessman knows that which makes you the most money, that's the most profitable. I mean, it's a no-brainer. You're going to invest in that, and you're going to, be providing that product all the time. And should that product change, should there be a need to change, and you also will adjust accordingly. It says, nonetheless, the product, I'm going to back that up. It says, nonetheless, the majority of his inventory will be the most lucrative item. Likewise, when a wholesome person is deciding how to spend his free time, he will choose those things that are most beneficial and essential. In the same way, when this individual comes to learn, he will choose the learning that is most advantageous and vital. When he spends his money for a mitzvah, he will choose a mitzvah which is most precious before Hashem, and he will give his charity to the best and most urgent places. Nonetheless, a person should be involved in many different things, but always attempting to do that which is the best for providing satisfaction and favor before our Father in Shemaim. So it's funny because I feel like in every generation also, I think that that mitzvah that is the most lucrative mitzvah, I think probably changes from generation to generation. And depending on what is the time and the need, hence like the store owner who buys things for everyone, there's mitzvahs on every level, but there are some mitzvahs that are that much, their reward is that much greater. But I think that changes from generation to generation. I'll give you an example, and I'm going to use sneas, it's a topic that I teach a lot. So that's the only reason why I'm bringing it up, but sneas will take that as an example, where in, back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I'm talking about like, the real back in the day, the first, our patriarchs and our matriarchs, we're going to take sneas for an example, and sneas for them, it's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah like any other mitzvah. It's a mitzvah like any other mitzvah today. But there wasn't this problem of sneas like you see it today, where we have has v'shalom kind of thrown the importance of tznius to the wayside. So if you followed Adorn with Dignity, you've heard me say in the past that if you're the only one wearing the tichel, really don't get too upset about it, because the fact is that if you're taking on a mitzvah that everyone around you should be taking on, they're not taking on, you get the reward as if everyone was doing it. So this is the same thing. And I feel like that certain mitzvahs that we again, Chas v'shalom, that we throw to the wayside and we don't give the proper kavod, those mitzvahs are probably worth more today than they were in a previous generation. And I think that changes depending on what's happening in this generation. And just as I said, tznius, that really pertains a lot to the women. It does pertain to the men as well, but for women especially. But let's take Torah study. I think that for me, I always find like I love to invest in, I don't get a kickback or anything for saying something like this, but I like investing in things like Torah Anytime, because it's exactly like what, Harav Papo Alav Shalom is saying, that something for everyone. Torah Anytime is great because it's not like you're just supporting one rabbi, which is great. Every rabbi should get supported. But I like it because it kind of is something for everyone. And because I'm really trying to maximize my mitzvot, I'm really trying to support those things that appeal to such a wide audience, because I know that the more people that I can get somehow, some way, one thing, two things, 1,000 things, if they start changing that, I also get, it's like getting a commission. I get something off of it. So I feel like it's great because there is something for everyone. It's not just one, one thing or the other. And I think that there are many different styles that rabbis have, all important, all necessary. But I think this is kind of an avenue that kind of really does cater to everyone's, particular way of learning. So I really like that kind of investment opportunity. And again, because Torah study for the men is probably something that, Chas v'shalom, we're not taking as seriously as we should. This is great because it gives, and not just for the men, for the women as well, but it gives everyone an opportunity to learn at their own pace, really in the privacy of their own home, and kind of to get them to that place where they do feel more comfortable to go out and do a more serious and formal learning. We're going to go on. It says, a person who does not know where the quote-unquote lights shine or the proper path that a man should choose must go to a scholar who will teach him and advise him. Just one thing he should understand on his own, or be told by a sage who is financially independent. So this is another great advice, especially in this day and age. When you're going to get advice, I think sometimes we think that just because somebody's, has a black hat and they have peyot, that we should be just following everything they say. That's not the case. You want to make sure that this person, there's no ulterior motive in the advice that they're giving you. In other words, they're not saying, and there's nothing wrong with you supporting that particular Rav. Nothing wrong with it. But if some Rav, some rabbi comes into town, he's just here for 1 week and he'll give you all this advice if you just, pay him X amount of dollars. Be a little leery of that. You want to make sure that somebody genuinely has your interest in heart. They want to see that you're growing closer to HaShem. And there really is just no ulterior motive. So it says the greatest form of charity is to support those who study Torah as a tree of life to those who uphold it. And there's no greater value than it. Again, like we said before, this is kind of a way, it's great to support those kollels. If you have a kollel in your neighborhood, for sure, you want to make sure, first it's like Hesed starts at home. This is kind of the same thing. You have a kollel in your area or your school. They're trying to get it together. You want to support because it's kind of your home turf. And then from there, it all spreads out. So it says, similarly, on the side of wrongdoing, if a person is compelled to do something bad, he must choose the act which is least offensive. The extent to which he minimizes the offense will diminish his punishment and demonstrate his genuine unwillingness. If a person adds on to this necessary violation, even the aspect in which he was unwilling, we would consider a premeditated action, and God will judge him for the entire act, since there is evidence that his soul desired to partake of the indulgences. So this is, the perfect example you can always say is like your kid, they take something, let's say they took a cookie, for instance, and they took it, they didn't know, they generally didn't know. And you caught them and said, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Okay. Would you punish? No. For sure you're not going to punish them. Like, it's okay. We'll forget about this. Now you know for the next time. This is for the guests that are coming, blah, blah, blah. But let's say he took that cookie, you caught him, and then he goes and he tries to make a cover-up. Even if he didn't know that those cookies were set aside for your guests that are coming tonight, the fact that he's trying to cover it up, now it's like, it doesn't matter to you whether he knew it or not. The fact that he's covering up, it's like, you're going too far. Like, the saying, you went too far. That's what the Rav is trying to say to us, that I think sometimes we get ourselves in these predicaments, and instead of just saying, instead of throwing ourselves on our swords to Hashem and saying, I'm sorry, Mechila, I did wrong. I didn't know. I genuinely didn't know. We go in and we do this cover up, right? Isn't that like, even in politics and everything, that's what people get angry with, right? It's the cover up. And then we that's it. We don't care. We don't care that it started out innocent. We don't care why it started. That's it. You're going to get it. So that's kind of the same thing that's going on here. But on the other hand, if he minimizes the prohibition, there is evidence that he fears God, and God exempts the unwilling wrongdoer. I mean, this is such a beautiful statement, because this is literally just telling us just that when it is an honest mistake, we're not held to the same, severity as if, we go and we try to cover it up. And again, I think that is something, I don't know why we do it. It's very hard to say when we've done something wrong. It really is hard to say when we've done something wrong. And it's very hard to change. And I pray that Hashem would help us to kind of recognize those things that we're doing. And, it's very, I'm talking about it, I get the concept, and yet I'm squirming in my seat. Like, it is very uncomfortable to admit when you're wrong. But I pray that, as we get accustomed to admitting when we're wrong, that it becomes easier, because the opposite is also true. When we get accustomed to doing the cover up, it becomes easier to do. So I pray that Hashem would help us to always choose the right thing, even if it wasn't so easy to do. And I pray that we would not find ourselves in those predicaments. But even if someone else, I pray that we would be a little bit more forgiving. And I think this is a particular chapter, even though it's short, that I will have to repeat over and over for myself, because it is something that I think is probably so much more relevant today, especially the more that you learn. It's hard. It is hard. But it was not hard being with you guys, and I pray that we'll all be together again soon. Bezrat HaShem.